back to the Law Live Audio Wrestling. Now, Chris, this past weekend, we had two pro wrestling pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call them, but two pro wrestling pay-per-views. One presented from the WWE, the other presented by AEW.
Mm-hmm.
One was a typical 3 to 4 hour pay-per-view. The other was 6.5 blue hours.
Come on.
6 hours, 45 minutes. You guess which one was which.
Well, listen, I don't understand why anybody feels it necessary to even put on a show that's that long. Even the WWE understands the concept of leave them wanting more. Was AEW a little overbooked for you, Brady?
Overbooked. I woke up this morning. Okay, so Eastern Standard Time. By the time I shut the event off, it was about 12:40-ish, something like that. I don't know if I even had a presser because I'm so burnt out from even hearing the name AEW or seeing their logo that I refused to look it up. I unfollowed all of their stuff. I unliked all of their stuff. I unsubscribed from everything that I was subscribed to. I feel your pain of watching a 2-hour Dynamite and having to review it for this show, but don't ever complain to me again when I was forced to watch a 6.5 hour event with one good match on the entire card.
Oh, come on now.
One good match.
Come on now. Yeah.
One. Let's talk about.
Okay.
But before we get into the AEW stuff, let's talk about the WWE and let's talk about what the WWE did well this weekend.
Okay.
Booked an event from start to finish fantastically. Don't just sit there and silence me, man. It was okay. So a couple weeks ago, we did our predictions for the King of the Ring and who we thought was going to come down to the two.
Mm-hmm.
We both predicted Gunther,
mm-hmm.
and then I called one out of left field.
Yep.
Well, that left field may have seemed like left field to most people, but I actually had a little inclination that Nia Jax was going to win the Queen of the Ring.
Is that what
so you can go back and check that out?
That's what your insider source was telling you?
No, it was it was what the insider source, which was me, my conscience, and the way that they're booking shit.
I was just about to make you a journalist, and you just shit the bed on it.
I'm so glad that I shit the bed on that because I don't want to ever be labeled a fucking journalist. So
well, I'm going to start telling people that you predicted this because of your inside source.
No, it came from inside my heart. Nia Jax is growing on me recently. Nia Jax's character, what they're doing with her since her return is fantastic. I love the fact that they put this on her. She now goes into a match with Becky. We assume it's going to be Becky, but she's going to go into a match to challenge for a title with a title above her head. Now, she did look like Sideshow Bob once they put that fucking crown on her head, and I apologize, Nia, but your hair was in like level 90% cane frizz when they put that thing on. It just didn't look right. I don't think she should ever wear that crown again, but Nia Jax is coming into her own. The pay-per-view as a whole was fantastic. The crowd there was trying to compete with the France crowd, the Lyon crowd. They were loud from start to finish. The Randy Orton entrance, beautiful chef's kiss, how slow he took on that entrance, him peering up over the crown, looking at it with envy. Oh man, Gunther, that match was fantastic. The entire event was good, bell to bell. I loved it. What did you think about watching the highlights, or did you watch the entire event?
Even the main event, it really solidified what I had said before, that Logan Paul is a special individual. And the WWE should be thankful that they have a guy like this on their roster right now. It's unbelievable what kind of an athlete this dude really is, because he's in there with a guy in Cody Rhodes, and you'd never really know that there was any kind of separation of years in the way in the two of them based on the way that they were working.
You think so, eh?
The camera shots even were fantastic in this match as well. Yeah, Logan Paul looked absolutely fantastic. And listen, a lot of this has to do with the fact that Cody is that good, and they know how to work Logan inside of his strong suit.
Mhm.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. But then when you see Logan Paul stand up on that top rope, looking to the outside, and he's got that bottle of Prime, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, that's a solid 8 foot out jump from 8 feet up through somebody who's laying on a table, and he looks beautiful doing it. It looks like he's been doing it forever. And
He has to be a mark for this stuff. Like like a real deep, long life fan of this because why would he be not only putting his body through this, but why would he be doing this when he doesn't need to do this? We've talked about this before. He doesn't need the money. This is a love. He got addicted to either the crowd pop or he's been in love with the wrestling industry his entire life.
or he knew that professional wrestling was the next stage because he wasn't very good at boxing.
Or it was the next stage because he wasn't very good at receiving, fan appraisal on YouTube, apparently, right? He gets a lot of hate. So maybe he was like, shit, I should make some money out of this hate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's done fantastic. Now, of course, you knew that Cody was going to end up winning this thing. You knew that Gunther was going to end up winning this thing, but you had some doubt because Randy Orton always makes you have that shadow of doubt. Now, the match to start the whole thing off when two girls and Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan came out in their best, Britney Spears outfits, um, they killed it in that match. It was a fantastic match. Again, the girls delivering. And the fact that the WWE is in the middle of, Saudi Arabia and they're like, "Yeah, we're giving the girls." And the girls knew that they had to perform extra because, the restrictions of the way that they look, the restrictions on the things that they can do, the places that they can go, and all of that stuff. And the girls were like, "That's cool. That's cool. We're here to do a job and show you why women's wrestling is actually important to some people."
Well, the thing about women's wrestling, it was definitely showcased this weekend. We got it on the Queen of the Ring, the tournament, and the title match, like you were saying, and we also got it in AEW because personally, to me, with going through the entire AEW pay per view, the two matches that stuck out for being actually pro wrestling and something that I enjoy watching were the two women's division matches. Willow may be my new favorite star in women's wrestling.
Why is that?
I her timing, her appeal, her charisma. I think there was something that maybe because I don't watch AEW's product religiously. So I have seen her before. I always kind of was just like hit and miss on her. I'm like, there's something here, but never really gave it attention. I was forced to give it attention fully, my full attention. And it was such a refreshing vibe from everything else that I had seen throughout the night that it really did stick out. Now, I don't think that's why it stuck out in terms of like why she looks so good. I think it stuck out because I finally seen some pro wrestling for a minute. I got 4.5 hours into a show and I was like, oh my goodness, finally something with some substance. And then it was gone too soon. But we'll talk about that. Let's go through the AEW pay per view from what I can remember. And, I worked really hard on trying to forget a lot of this today, but I'm going to piece some of it back together in my head. We started off, we had a match with Will Ospreay and Roderick Strong. Will
Mhm.
Ospreay gets his first title in AEW, the International, Intercontinental, Incompatible, whatever the fucking name of the title is. Will Ospreay gets his belt, gets his roses, goes home. Then so I was like, when that match ended, I was like, okay, so this is a good way to start this pay-per-view. This is great.
That
This is a
match was
good
good.
vibe. Great vibe. Then Adam Cole came into the ring. And I was like, no, they're not going to do what I think they're going to do. Please don't tell me they're going to do what I think they're going to do. And it cuts to a video and you see the MJF, dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun-dun, and it cuts back to Adam Cole, and he's doing the "oh no" face, and I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you." Okay, so they're just teasing it. They wouldn't be that dumb. And then you hear, and fucking MJF walks out dressed as Triple H from the year 2001. What? Or 2002 or whatever. Yeah, 2002. Royal Rumble 2002. His best comeback from an injury outfit. Why would they do this? Why would they shit the... This is like when they signed the Big Show and Tony tweeted it. Instead of waiting for TV that night to just let it happen and make it a surprise for people, you fucking tweet it. You blow your load. What is wrong with this company? Chris, did you see this?
They overbooked. Oh, yeah, I saw it. I saw the promo. I saw the whole thing, and it was a clear setup that kind of, I mean, for the people there, yeah, great. Did it need to be done there? No. Did it need to be, especially if you've had this much talk about this person for this long since being out? What's he been out since December? Is that when it was? It's been out since December.
Yeah.
And if you've got this much buzz going around it, you don't put it out there this early in the show just on the sake of a simple promo, and all of a sudden here he comes. This makes no sense to me, but it does. And here's why it makes sense to me, Brady. It makes sense to me because it's AEW we're talking about, and their whole idea of making sense doesn't make sense. They're the anti-pattern in a pattern, it seems like. There was no reason for them to put this out there this early, but yet they still went ahead and did it. Why? That's what you have to ask yourself.
I'll wait for this rant until the end of this. We got to get through the rest of it. So then we have the MJF return promo, which was a great promo. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to slow down on that spray tan stuff though, because at this point he looked almost like Justin Trudeau from an old Halloween party when he came out. But okay, so MJF comes out. Then we have Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta in a match that whatever. Then we've got a 6-man tag match that happens. And we got Tony Storm, the magnificent, maleficent, amazing Tony Storm comes out and actually has a really good match with Serena Deeb. They tell a really good pro wrestling story. Serena Deeb looked the best I've seen her in probably 5 years. Like, I shit you not. She looked really good last night. The timing was perfect on that match. But what were your thoughts on the Tony Storm, Serena Deeb?
Listen, I'm always a fan, and I've said it before. I'm always a fan of a Tony Storm match. Her ability to tell a story is fantastic. The way that they told the story with the working of the leg, and then into the pile driver, the quick little sit out pile driver that Tony Storm does, the back and forth, and the throwing in the towel, and Tony tossing the towel into the crowd, and the interactions with Luther. Like, it's a great gimmick they've got going on right now. It's fantastic. Serena Deeb, I mean, listen, your brain has to be left of center if you thought that Serena Deeb was going to be a new champion at any point during this match. That just didn't happen. But she came out and she put on one hell of a match and made people believe that maybe that could happen. Maybe that could, because you were looking at the way that she was kicking out of this stuff like, oh, are we really going to do this right now? And that was the proper thing. The girls, like I said, the girls have been killing it so far.
They were the highlight of the weekend for sure. Okay, so then we go. I'm going to lose order here for sure, but we had Hook. We had your favorite. No. We had your favorite worker coming up. We had your boy. I know that you just got like personal merch done that says "I love Taz's kid." So
that's
Tid wearing his shirt.
Says.
What does it say?
It says "I love Hook."
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hers.
Yeah. Tid's favorite kid in the entire pro wrestling industry.
That's not a true statement.
Versus everyone's favorite veteran. It's not a true statement either.
Oh.
Shibata. Shitty. No, Shibata was unfortunate that Shibata was even in this debacle of a match. Now, the thing that I did really like about this match, because we can pick it apart, people almost died in this. I wish they did, but they didn't. The dice. The dice was a good effect. I love the bag of dice. I love the fact that they did it so early in the match that every other bump that they had to take was in the fucking dice
So
wrestling.
shit. So shit. Between that and the table spot, or the table doesn't really break, between that and both of those guys dumping Jericho on his brains. I mean, listen.
I can't do this anymore with this fucking company, man.
They tried so hard with all of this in this match. But my favorite part, and you're damn sure going to know that not only does Shibata know that there's only 7 minutes left in the match, okay, the person in the fucking nosebleeds knew that there was 7 minutes left in the match.
I sent you guys a video while it was happening live. I went back and re-recorded it on my phone. I was like, dude, did Aubrey just run over on hard cam? Because the crowd at this point was like, move on. Like, they didn't just want Jericho to retire. They wanted all three fucking guys to retire. And they had enough. So they're sitting there, they're quiet for a minute. They're taking their breath. And right as they take their breath, the crowd and everything calms down. Aubrey gets right into the fucking hard cam. It was just 7 minutes, Shibata.
It's unbelievable.
And she was screaming shit all night. That was the one that was like blatant. It was as loud could be.
Now
she's the worst, unfortunately.
You talk about like a death in this match, though, Brady.
There was,
and there almost multiple times. There was Chris Jericho getting dumped on his brains, right? Yes. There was that. There was the I don't know what it was supposed to be, some weird kryptonite crunch off of the ropes through Jericho through the table that didn't really work out. That, you know, kind of like smashed the back of Hook's head off of the table there. And these two weren't even the worst one. The worst one in that match was that bump that Jericho's heater ends up taking off of the apron. Dude, the fact that the table broke and those legs stayed perfectly straight up, laying right next to him. If he was 3 inches to the left, he would have landed right on those things and we'd be having a different show today.
This, all joking aside, now when I say I want somebody to die, I'm joking. You know I'm joking. But somebody is going to die in this company if they don't they need to tone some of this stuff down. Like, I know
this wasn't even the crazy shit.
Well, we're getting to that. They waited until everyone was half asleep to show you the craziest fucking shit throughout the night. Okay, so then we had Jon Moxley versus Takeshita. That was what it was. I feel bad for him.
It was exactly what you thought that match was going to be between those two dudes.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was okay. It was okay, and I can't completely shit on that. That was actually one of the better Moxley gimmicks. Then we go to our buddy Adam versus Malachi, and what seems to be one of Malachi's last runs here in AEW, because the rumor mill is saying, rumor and innuendo is saying that he is on his way back to WWE. He is a Triple H guy. Everybody knows that. We had a return. We had an Attitude Era return, which was fitting. Shout out to my buddy Kyle Mercer. You can check him out at his shop, Twisted Ink. I think it's don't quote me, but check out Kyle Mercer in Cambridge. He's the one who designed the new Brood logo for Edge and was on the Titantron last night. I had seen that on his social media today. He's a good buddy. Congrats to him for getting that on a national platform. We had Gangrel came back and he looked good.
Not only did he come back, the way he came back.
Yeah, it was good.
Because they knew Gangrel wasn't walking down the aisle in an appropriate amount of time. And plus there's a cage wrapped in barbed wire around this thing. So the fact that they had him come from underneath the ring, that was a great touch. That could have very well been, surprise spot of the night. Should have been, Brady. It wasn't.
Well, okay. So before we get any further, I don't want to see guys like Adam where they are in their career jumping off a cage. I know he fucked his knee up. He was trying to not sell it, but he definitely fucked something up, whether that's his knee or whatever it was. he'll be walking like him and Gangrel walked out of the ring together, like they look like they were brothers, bow-legged brothers, right? So
Right?
it just I don't want to see guys like Adam do that. It's just not what I want to see. But no, okay. So then, big surprises. You want to set this up?
Shh, no, you go right ahead, my man.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm done talking about this shit.
Well, I mean, this was the main event, right?
No, technically this was there's 3 main events.
Oh yeah.
So we had my favorite match of the night, which was Willow and Mercedes. Mercedes definitely stepped up to the plate.
Mm.
Mercedes did fantastic. Willow did fantastic. Shouts out to those girls for telling a great story. Great match. Loved it. Mercedes showing her worth.
Listen, here's the thing that I'll say, though, Brady, very quickly. And it's funny that you say this because you and I are on the same page with this match, but there was a lot of hate going around for this match. People that we know, you know what I mean? I mean, they don't have any, they've never, taken a bump in their life, but they feel need to, say things sometimes without the knowledge of really knowing what's going on. And that's okay because they're just going by what they see in front of them and that what they like. But if you know the way that the business is and you know the way that these girls work and you know the way that the stories needed to be told, these girls did a fantastic bang up job.
Yeah.
And you know now why Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, you know why she's getting the money that she's getting. Right?
She's surprisingly strong. When she had her up in that her whatever her gory move that she does, she had Willow up there. She was walking with her. Like she's a tiny little thing, but man, she's a tough little girl. I think people forgot how good she actually was.
Okay.
She didn't just get to the top in WWE because of people she knew or because they needed someone to fill a spot. She is a good hand. She's one of the better female workers. Is she worth 10 million? I don't know. Time will tell. But I think
that company.
She didn't come in there and she didn't go through the motions. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
She earned her fucking keep last night. So moving on from our first main event, then we had our second main event, which should have been our real main event, but there's egos involved. Swerve versus Christian. I got nothing. Fuck it. It happened. Swerve's got the belt, and my mama tries to tell me, saying, if you don't got nothing nice to say, move on and shit on something else. Oh. Yeah, move on and shit on something else. Now, I want to save all of my energy for this because this is where I tap. When I'm done talking about this AEW match, I refuse to talk about any more AEW matches because I will not be watching any more AEW matches. This match didn't turn me off per se to be like, oh, I'm never watching it again. Time is fucking valuable. I am getting older. When we do this show, we have a lot to get through throughout a week or bi-weekly or however long it takes. There's a lot to get through. There's so much content coming out. I refuse to waste my time watching Jack Perry get lit on fire unless it's real. Unless you're going to look real on TV for real, don't fucking show me I'm on fire. Okay, this match was a disaster. I knew when they booked it. It sucks to see guys like Dax Harwood and Daniel Bryan in a match like this and having to put up with this crap. I don't care if they wanted to be a part of it or they didn't, or they're happy with it or they weren't happy with it. It's upsetting as a fan of theirs. I don't know what they're doing in this company anymore. Please stop. Tony Khan. All I'm going to say is CM Punk screams at you backstage at a show for one of your talent being just whatever. It's a scuffle. And you're scared for your life. But yet you get dragged out on a stage and you're 3 feet away from a flamethrower lighting a stunt man on fire. And that doesn't scare the shit out of you. You're not doing a presser the next day saying, I thought I was scared for my life before. Now I'm even more scared for my life. This whole thing is ridiculous. This is a billionaire with way too much money. I'm not watching some kid playing a fucking sandbox anymore with people's lives and their bodies. I hope anybody that I know that is there right now, get your fucking paycheck. I love you that you're getting paid for being in the business that you love, but I'm fucking out. I tap. Officially here on the law, I tap from AEW. Done.
Well,
Done.
I think that it was great. I think that it was something that caused people to talk about the next day on the Monday when they're at work. Because everybody's talking about the fact that not only did somebody get set on fire and they used a flamethrower in this match, no, they hung somebody by their ankles like they were gutting a deer in the middle of the ring, and then proceeded to give him super kicks with thumbtacks attached to the bottoms of their shoes, like they were getting ready to do some kind of fucking new flooring or something like that. Listen, how can you not like this stuff? This is fantastic stuff. This is attitude era stuff. This is the stuff that we loved and praised the WWE for so long back in the early 2000s. Am I right?
No, you're fucking wrong, man. I
This is
never
the
once.
bullshit. This is the exact stuff that we fucking thought was so great when Steve Austin was smashing his boss in the face with a fucking bedpan and driving up to the ring in beer trucks and doing all of this fucking stuff. And we were like, yeah, fuck the man. Yeah. Power to the people. Right. We thought this was great, right? Yes, we did. You want to know the fucking real thing though? It was great. In the early 2000s, ladies and gentlemen. We're in 2024, where everybody seems to get offended by everything, but that doesn't seem to matter to you guys when you're going to bring a flamethrower out. What's next? A guillotine? An actual shotgun spot? Are we going to literally run people off the road for real like the Steiner Brothers gimmicks back in the day?
If you're gonna do a spot or any sort of thing where, hey, maybe we're gonna have someone hanging from the ceiling, whether they're low or they're hanging, period. Maybe wait for a night that Martha Hart isn't there making an announcement for the Owen Hart Foundation and a tournament. Maybe pick a different night. I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, they wouldn't have picked Wednesday because God knows they still got that thing under control.
Like if the Boston Marathon was going on and they were in Boston, do you think it would be appropriate to end that fucking match with a C4 explosion? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, can you be insensitive any more than what you are when you do this stuff? Like, does anyone actually think there? Please, guys, like I said, get your paycheck, but fuck this fucking shit. I'm not watching it anymore.
Wait a second. If they do, are you telling me that if they do a show in Boston, that nobody can use a power bomb?